Girlfriend of 5 years left me for coworker she was having an emotional affair with. Left the apartment one day and never came back. My girlfriend, who also is my common law partner, Canadian for wife without the wife part, decided to leave me for her coworker. She moved out the day she announced she wanted to break up, which led me to find out an emotional affair was happening for months. He told her he was interested in her. She flirted back and said she was in a relationship. Eventually she got disinterested in our relationship and pursued him, telling me nothing physical happened before we broke up. 2 weeks prior to her moving out and leaving me, I had invited all our friends and family to her graduation, via a secret Facebook group to tell them you've gonna propose to her there. I went from planning a proposal to living alone in a cold big apartment with our 3 cats that she does not seem to care about anymore. Every message I sent her, she leaves on read. I went on no contact for a while and genuinely felt better. But every single move I did while under no contact, was for her to notice. I kept thinking, I bet she misses me so much right about now. Or I bet she's gonna look at my gym stories and miss me so much. Then after 1 week of North Carolina I relapsed. She left me on scene again. I wrote her an angry letter telling her how she almost ruined my life. She left it on scene. I've been with tens of women since the breakup. Nothing feels real. Nothing fills the hole in my heart. Why the duck do I want her back after all the cruel and horrible poop she did to me? How could she just leave 5 years of memories and happiness and our cats and just leave? Why doesn't she feel sad? Why didn't she cry once when she said she was leaving me? Story 2. Married for 19 years before my wife cheated on me. This is my first time on Reddit. I'll be 75 this July and I've seen a lot of things. I wanted to share my story with the younger generation before I die, quite frankly. I have lung cancer and I don't expect to be around much longer, so this information needs to get out there. I got married when I was 18 in 1964. It feels like I'm not even the same person anymore. I used to be in good physical shape, and now I'm stuck in a wheelchair. My wife and I both had to work full-time since I didn't have the income to support both of us. I worked in construction and she cleaned hotel rooms. We never had any kids, and we still had time to ourselves on the weekends. I don't think we ever argued, but this was so long ago I'm losing details. Though, and we didn't have any issues getting along. Over the years I started to make more money and she was able to quit her job and stay at home. I would work longer nights though, and our marriage turned more into friendship, honestly. We rarely had time, and although I still loved her, I felt like it was different. We didn't spend enough time together towards the end. I take the blame for leading us down the wrong road with my job. As you will read later on, this wasn't the only issue, but still I should have addressed this situation while I still could have. One night I get back from work and at first everything seems normal. Dinner was ready and we had the TV set to baseball, my favorite back in the day. I talked to her in the kitchen for a little and went to my room to change out of my work clothes. When I went in there, I found a box of condoms on my nightstand. I started to panic because I had a vasectomy years before this and never used condoms. I immediately asked my wife about them and she couldn't think of an explanation in time. She started crying and came clean about the cheating. She invited her friend from work over for time while I was out and apparently forgot to get rid of the condoms. I'm not ashamed to admit I was crying as well after hearing that. I tried to find out why she did this and she said she just wasn't attracted to me, was lonely, and never enjoyed our time. I didn't know what to say and ended up leaving. We got divorced after 19 years of being married. In my 40s I was a disaster. I lost all confidence and motivation to go on. I started drinking and eventually became an alcoholic. It took me until my 60s to kick this habit. I couldn't look myself in the mirror, while thinking I was a failure of a man. I wanted to date again, but I just thought the same would happen again. It never occurred to me that I was bad in bed and I really didn't have any good answers. My skin started to wrinkle a bit, especially on the back of my legs, but I took pride in maintaining my figure for a while, and when I had time during our marriage I swear she enjoyed it. I kept my tough guy appearance through my 30s, and would still wear my bandana during time, which was a turn-on for her. I was generous and always went down on her when she wanted me to. I used CCK rings to maintain erections and I could always orgasm extra hard, which was a fetish of hers. If I tried my best, by definition I couldn't do anything else. As time went by though, I started to think about the idea that at an older age time wasn't too important, and about 5 years ago I started dating again. We don't have an active time life, but she assured me that there was nothing wrong with me. I remarried last year, which made me so happy, but unfortunately that's when I got my cancer diagnosis. Since then I've lost a lot of energy, and my new wife is the only one that keeps me going. We are trying chemo, but the future looks bleak. In my remaining days I want to share some knowledge I've collected over the years to make the world a better place. My mental abilities are also slowly waning, so I need to do this before it's too late. I hope all reading this can learn something from me to make their life better. Redditor's reactions, story 3 after. Redditor 1, wow, thank you for sharing. You should keep a journal and write down all life lessons that you've learned when you think of them. I wish you the best of luck and try to stay positive. Glad you have a loving wife, seems like you truly deserve to have someone so caring finally. Redditor follow-up, this is such a good idea. I think it would be super therapeutic and enjoyable for OP, and I'm sure the readers would love it, and would feel privileged to share in OP's wisdom and journey. I'm a writer myself and I would love to help with this. Co-write, or whatever. Redditor 2, thank you for sharing your life experiences. They have helped me already in just these few minutes. I hope the best for you, friend. Wishing you strength and love. Redditor 3, it's a shame no one told you years ago, but she used the classic manipulation technique of deflection. When someone is caught red-handed, they instead find a way to blame or diminish the empathetic person who cares. By doing so, she makes it not about her anymore. Instead of you being in the mindset to make her face her consequences, she retains power over you by making you feel like it. I don't know if it will give you closure, but please find justice for yourself before it's too late. Best wishes to you, sir. Redditor follow-up, yeah, even if non-cheating situations this happens and is hard to see for what it is. When my sister lived with me and lied to me about paying rent even after I got the late notice, when she couldn't lie anymore she cried and blamed me, saying she didn't tell me because I stressed out too easily and she didn't want to deal with my reaction. Really, it's about them not being able to face their actions and deal with the consequences. Story 3, pulled a Shania Twain on my cheating ex. And it drives her and AP crazy karma. I posted this as a comment somewhere else and someone suggested I post it here. Hope it complies with your rules. My wife's AP was her boss, a high-income executive. So I told his wife and she divorced AP, taking him for pretty much everything. AP's ex-wife and I bonded over a mutual hatred of our exes, So we thought it would teach them if we became a couple. It did, and we spent many nights laughing over their angry voicemails, emails, etc. But after a few fake dates, it turned out we actually enjoyed spending time with each other. Fast forward a year and we moved in together. AP's ex is the stay-at-home stepmom to our kids, my 2, her 3. My ex has to pay child support to me and her ex has to pay both alimony and child support, so we're never getting married and a cohabitation agreement is more than sufficient. We're happy, the kids are happy, and it completely, utterly, absolutely infuriates our exes. After I and AP's ex moved in together, my wife turned up her rage a notch and made the mistake of making a threat voicemail that we used to get a protective order that put her job in jeopardy. Her boss's boss and HR had a talk with her. The best part: my ex-wife and AP are no longer together. Can you say karma? Redditor's reactions, story 4 after. Redditor 1, Lamau. I've been smiling through reading this. This is beautiful. Simply beautiful. Redditor 2, I have one outdoor cat. Redditor 3, this reminds me of a good friend of mine named Erin from college a few years back. She was dating a woman named Lucy, and it was all going well until she met Anne, who was also dating Lucy. So Erin texted Lucy that day to meet her at the park after class, where Lucy found Erin and Anne making out on a bench. Erin and Anne are getting married in June. Redditor follow-up, wow, like that meme where the guy is looking at a girl walking by and his GF was glaring at him. That was turned into a slide story of this situation. Story 4, GF of 20 years cheated. She worked at an assisted living facility. Decided to take on a part-time gig as an in-home aide for this dude in a wheelchair. He wanted out of the facility but he needed an aide. She went through the entire hiring process and got him moved into his apartment without ever mentioning anything about it to me. Wasn't until she didn't come home until 3 a.m. and I flipped out about how she had been me all day that she finally told me what she was doing. I couldn't believe that it was platonic, so I asked to see her messages to the guy. Everything was deleted. I expressed my suspicions about her infidelity and was told that it wasn't like that. A few days later I asked to look at her phone again. This time I found a hidden page of apps and opened Snapchat. She had been saving all of their messages going back the past 6 months. It was bad, like heart-stopping bad. I would go to work overnight and she would stay up sending him lingerie and pussy pictures. Also their chats proved that they had been intimate and in love. This is when she claimed that it's not like that anymore. I took the fuse for the fuel pump out of my car that she was driving and asked her to leave the home that I had bought for us. Gave her a 60-day notice to get her exit out. She signed over custody of our 12-year-old son and was happy to get only every other weekend visitation. She moved into her mom's house for a while before eventually moving into the dude's apartment. Fast forward to January of this year 2022, the dude dies, she gets less than 2 weeks to get moved back into her mom's house. And come to find out that she had quit her full-time job at the assisted living facility 2 months prior, relying on the money she was getting paid to be her BF's in-home aide. So yeah, she's 40 years old, single, unemployed, living with her mommy. Meanwhile, I've since met my best friend, soulmate, and have gotten engaged. Cheaters never win. Redditor's reactions. Redditor 1, I divorced my cheating wife and now living my best life. I have new great wife, good job, son together. She is basically homeless now, living where she can't find steady employment. She had it good with me, and threw it all away. The dude she cheated on me with tossed her to the streets when he was done with her. Redditor 2, GG. Redditor 3, good for you. My GF of 15 years cheated on me with a homeless drunk cokehead. I paid all her bills and she never worked. And I stopped drinking and using drugs to raise her now 16-year-old daughter. I had a brief relapse, lost my ESIT and ended up in a psych ward. I really wanted to die. Got my ESIT together and reconnected with an old GF from 25 years ago, who had been my closest friend forever before this new relationship. I wouldn't have pulled through without her. We talked and texted every day for months. Then we both realized it was something more. Flew across Ray country and spent time with her and it was great. In the process of getting my insurance and medication set for me to move out there for good. Redditor 4, wow. Am I the only one who had his brain go to an even darker place? She was getting paid by him for in-home care. She added GF to the mix. Doesn't that technically make an escort? Considering the level of in-home care she was providing. If she kept getting paid after she started sleeping with him,